Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a really great day. Today, we're going to be counting down the top 10 collectibles that were given to me as gifts. This isn't one of them.
Launch sequence activated.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's right, today's top 10 will consist of 10 pieces, 10 collectible items that were given to me over the years as gifts. Now, I've always said that I've been very lucky in friendship, and I really do believe that. So with that in mind, I'm just going to tell you guys right now that as I'm relaying this information of these collectibles that were given to me as gifts, I will not be naming any names. I will not be doing any name dropping. Those guilty parties that have participated in this fiasco will remain anonymous for their own protection, and probably for mine as well if they ever found out that I name dropped them on the internet and shared their names on YouTube and whatnot. I didn't bother to get anybody's permission for this, so it might be best if I just, yeah, let's do that. Let's just not name anybody's names. Okay, just to say a few things about this piece before I move it along and actually start showing you the things that were given to me as gifts. This is obviously the Silver Surfer Maquette by Sideshow. It's the exclusive edition that includes Frankie Ray as Nova. It's a really cool light up piece. I don't know if you can tell because the lights are probably overpowering it, but the hair is indeed glowing. It's a gorgeous piece. I think I wasn't quite sure how I'd feel about it before I got it in, but once I had it in hand, I'm smitten with it, absolutely smitten with it. Just let me give it a quick turnaround here. You can just see all the way around just how gorgeous of a piece it is. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but let's just give it a spin. And whoa, there it is. 180 degrees all the way around. Time to move on to the countdown. First up is, haha, see what I did there? Classic bait and switch. Yeah, we're still with the Silver Surfer, but instead of being the Silver Surfer Maquette by Sideshow, which is quarter scale, we're currently looking at the Silver Surfer Comiquette from years back. I want to say 2011, 2012. Yeah, it might have been even earlier. I want to say it was like I was in St. Louis when I first acquired this. This is one of those pieces that I had, and I had like a big splurge of collectibles that came in all at once. Realized that my credit card had taken too big of a hit, so I had to sell one or two of them off, and Silver Surfer took the hit. Always regretted it though, and one day I was lamenting that fact to a friend of mine. Let me just backtrack a little bit and tell you about that friend, because really this whole top 10 thing today is more about friendship than it is about collectibles. So as I said, I've been very lucky in friendship over the years. And after I moved out to the West Coast, there was a couple who worked for Sideshow when I started working for Sideshow. And they actually, have you seen Ted Lasso? Who out there has seen Ted Lasso? Raise your hands. Just kidding, I can't see you anyway. But in Ted Lasso, there's this dude named Higgins, and he and his wife every Christmas invite over for Christmas dinner any of the players on their soccer team who don't have family in London. So this is basically what those two friends of mine were to me and my wife. Our first Thanksgiving away from home, they invited us over to their house for Thanksgiving dinner. We weren't alone. There were one or two other guests there as well. So it's just something that they did. It was a really generous thing for them to do. And the guy and I became pretty good friends while I was working over there. And one day, while I was hanging out with them, I mentioned the Silver Surfer Comiquette and how I'd sold it to whomever, eBay, I don't know, maybe I sold it to a friend online. It's been so long ago, I don't remember. But after I brought this up to him, he actually said, you know what, hang on a second. And he went out in his garage and he came back in carrying a box. And well, do I need to actually tell you what was in the box? That's right. He had a Silver Surfer Comiquette sitting in a box in his garage. It was a distressed product that he had from Sideshow, and he just gave it to me. And it's been with me ever since, on display in my house in one place or another, living room, office, what have you. It's a gorgeous piece. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick turnaround, but you can see how dynamic it is. It features the surfer just riding this cosmic wave of dust and particles and whatnot, and cosmic energy. Trailing behind him are, of course, hints of the power cosmic emitting from his fingertips. It's beautiful to behold. I don't know how well the camera is picking this up, but there are just trace amounts of color flowing through this translucent resin that makes up this power cosmic. Absolute beautiful bits of pink and purple. You can also see them in here as well. Silver blending with pink, just metallic elements going on. And of course the shiny, shiny signature surfboard of the Silver Surfer. It's an almost perfect piece. There is a spot that I can't even see right now, but I know it's over here somewhere where paint has been rubbed off just a little bit. Not so much the paint as the finish is ever so slightly but notably different on the top of the board. You can only see it from certain angles. Maybe you're seeing it right now in the fine 4K, but to me, it's perfect. Again, this isn't about collectibles, it's about friends, and as long as it came from a friend, then it's absolutely perfect in my sight. I will always treasure this, as I will treasure the subsequent 9 pieces. Speaking of which, we probably had to get that, but before I do, I should point out that this piece has several different looks that it can come with. The rest are all boxed up down in the basement, and I didn't want to take the time to drag them out, but there are 3 different portraits, and you have opposing arms. Another option that you would have would be that instead of having the arms trailing behind, one of the arms would be able to be clenched up in like a fist, and you could have an open mouth scream like he's, ah, you know, like Silver Surfer makes that sound. Ah! Yeah, you get it. Anyway, there's a light behind me. There also is an option to display the arms back without the power cosmic emitting from his fingertips. Obviously, they're considering things like real estate, shelf space, the footprint that the piece leaves. If you had to back it all the way up against a shelf, just to make a wall rather, just to make sure that it would fit on the shelf, you wouldn't want these things breaking off by hitting a wall. So that's it. Silver Surfer Comiquette, the first of 10 pieces that I'm showcasing today that were given to me by friends. Next up. Wonder Woman's Invisible Jet. No, just kidding. What I'm really talking about this round is this. The Darth Talon premium format figure by Sideshow was given to me a dude. I was hanging out in his office and I saw it up there on his shelf and I was like, oh wow, you're so lucky you have that. And legitimately the very next thing he did was get up from his desk and grab it and set it down in front of me and said, you should have it. You're obviously very excited about it. I don't need it and it's all yours. Wow! I didn't even know the guy that well. The fact that he actually, so I don't know if I could go so far as to count this as like a friendship, me being lucky in friendship, as just so much as me being in the right place at the right time. Or, you know, maybe he's just an extraordinary dude. I mean, I don't know him very well, again, but I have witnessed his behavior in the way that he is with others, and he's just a generous soul. I greatly appreciated the gift. I tried not to accept it, but he really pushed, and I said, okay, fine, I'll take this. Later on down the line, the reason that it's not here with me now is that sometime down the line, I had an opportunity to pass that gift on to somebody to whom it really meant a great deal. This guy is still a good friend of mine. I've lost touch with him, but if we bumped into each other, I'm sure we'd be just like old times right away. I'm sure he still has it in his collection. He was very, very thrilled to get it. In return, he wound up giving me a 3A Bumblebee figure, posable figure. The first one from one of the Bayformers movies. I want to say it was from Extinction, maybe? I don't know. The third or the fourth one, whichever one that was. So, yeah. Pay it forward, man. Good things come your way. Anyway, on to the next one that I actually have. Yeah. No, right? Legitimately, the red-headed stepchild of the Sideshow offices, this particular Salacious B. Crumb life-size figure has made the rounds. It has been in the possession of many, many people there, and the same story applied for every experience that this collectible has had. They would get it home, and the wives would be like, no, get it out. And that happened when I brought it home as well. So I have not had this piece displayed in my home for years. It has been in my possession for years, but it has been in a box for years. I think that it's on its way out the door to its new home with another friend of mine. So I am re-gifting this gift as it was re-gifted to me and re-gifted to the person who gifted it to me, etc., on down a line that is immeasurable. The damn thing is just so cool, yet so hideous that no one has been able... Look at it. No one has been able to get it to be approved by their spouse. Yeah. So sorry, Salacious. Incidentally, no sooner did I get it in my possession than I broke the tail off. I still have it. I have some steel putty down there in a toolbox, and I planned on someday to just make it whole once more. But look how great it is. Just look at the paint on it. Look at how real it looks. It looks like the freaking puppet from Return of the Jedi. I'm tempted just to hang on to it. but I've already kind of committed to it, so it will be going out the door sometime in the near future. But I'm glad that I had this moment with it to share it all with you and to talk about it ever so briefly. If you have the means of picking one of these up, by all means, you should go for it because it's a splendid piece. Hideous as all hell, but cool in spite or maybe because of all of that. Anyway, on to the next one. Just making sure the right side is facing on that you'll know soon in a bit. That's right, 2 for the price of 1. I from a colleague who knew that I had hit on hard times and how much of a fan I am of clones. I walked into my office one day and found 2 of these 2 sitting on my table with a note attached, and the note is actually still attached. It's back here. I'm not going to show it to you for the sake of anonymity. I just want to protect the guilty. But it reads this: someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept these as a gift. And he signed his name to them. Wow. And this is the cool thing is I don't even think this guy liked me all that much when he really thought, and he just decided to go ahead and do me this kindness. I'm grateful to him, and I do acknowledge that I owe him a favor, and I hope someday to be able to return that favor. And until that day comes, know that I treasure this gift from you, and I always will. Clone troopers are my jam. They always have been. It's been probably at the forefront of my collecting for a very long time. I stopped collecting when Sideshow stopped making them, and I've started again now that Hot Toys has. These are, wow, unique. And I don't even know if I can show you why, but you might be able to see. You might be able to tell from looking at them, but I don't want to talk about it. It's the Wolfpack clones were at the tail end of Sideshow's clone making. It was round about that time that they really nailed the deca, and they nailed the figure bodies, and they nailed basically everything. They were perfect, and then the plug was pulled. I don't even remember why. I don't even remember if I ever knew why. But I, like so many of you out there, have always been saddened by that. Thankfully, we have more clones coming down the pipe from Hot Toys. Let's hope that trend continues. Until then, we have all of these amazing Sideshow clones to look at, and a few Hot Toys ones as well. That's it. On to the next one. It's my guy. That's right. This is the OG, the very first Boba Fett premium format figure that Sideshow ever produced. Throughout the years, they've created multiple statues of this. I don't even know what to call them. Badass. Consummate badass? Mandalorian consummate badass? You take your pick, man, but it's as long as badass is in it, it's going to be accurate. And that includes when we're talking about this particular statue. This thing caused quite a bit of an uproar because at the time, Sideshow opted to go with, this is the first piece that they made that was not on a resin body. This is a plastic body underneath here. And I think, I was not present, I didn't work for them at the time that they produced this. I did buy it, and I had it on my shelf for quite some time. But I think that the reason they chose to go with a plastic body is because they made this head posable. And having a plastic ball joint, plastic helmet, shoved into a resin body at the time, they probably hadn't quite worked out the engineering for doing that properly. My guess is that the best way to do that would actually be to have the receptacle, the plastic receptacle for a plastic ball joint and a plastic head, and actually cement that into a resin body. But they probably decided that this was the best way to go about doing it, and I happen to agree with them. It's a very, very striking looking piece once you get it on the shelf. I happen to think that it's, apart from maybe the helmet, everything else about it seems to be the most accurate to the film of all the Sideshow Boba Fett statues that I've seen. You'll notice that mine is missing the rangefinder. That happened in my most recent move. I remember taking it apart. It had been broken and reassembled by me, and I put it in the box, but at some point between Charlotte and here, it wound up disappearing in that box full of styrofoam packing peanuts. That's what I get for using those. Never again. So yeah, great looking piece. The backpack. I wish I had this for a backpack. The jetpack looks like it might be big, but when I recently I had a reason to actually inspect that very, very closely. And at the time, this jetpack was actually quite large compared to the way that they look in the current generation of jetpacks that are coming down the pipe from Lucasfilm and the various Star Wars films and TV shows and whatnot. So this is true to scale. This looks right. And yeah, I really, really dig it. So thanks to my friend for bringing this into my life. I'm going to spin this thing around here really quick so that everybody gets a chance to look at all the elements of it up close. And I love this really freaking long cape. You can see that he's got his mythosaur skull there on the side. Yeah, really, really bitchin'. Yeah, really pleased to have this. Anyway, next! It's so adorable. This is the War Helm of the Morgul Lord from the Sideshow Weta partnership back in the early days of my collecting of Sideshow collectibles, which led into collecting Weta collectibles when they formed their own thing, which led into collecting other things and from other companies, and to where I am today. But this is an awesome throwback. I was at work one day and this dude walked in and said, "Hey, you're a Lord of the Rings fan, right? I thought you might like to have this." And he presented me with this, which is a quarter scale representation of the Witch King of Angmar in his battle garb from the final film in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Return of the King. I used to have the 6 scale statue of the Witch King, the Morgul Lord, if you will, and I had to get rid of it. But it's now that I have this, or I've had it for quite some time, it's a really cool thing to have back in the collection. You can see that it took a tumble at some point off of my shelf, and several of these spikes have been bent. I've been too cowardly to do anything about it to straighten them all out. One of these days, maybe I'll think that I have the know-how enough to do so. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to bring this into focus. It is, in fact, make sure that I can see it. Yeah, man, that's dirty down there. It is, in fact, an artist proof of this particular piece. I don't even know what that means. I don't know if the artist proof is something that now you can see why it fell off the stack. You can see why it fell off my shelf so easily. This is not the most stable of displays. Like even right now, I'm just struggling with getting it back. There's a little hook up front there, and these 2 little prongs are supposed to hook around the back of the mask. Anyway, but there it is, War Helm of the Morgul Lord. Give it a quick spin, just so you can see how cool they are. Weta and Sideshow worked together to bring us a great line of these die-cast metal helms, representing all the various cultures and armies from the Lord of the Rings, from orcs, Gondorians, Numenorians, what have you. It's all there. Elves. They had so many of them, and in recent years, Weta have picked up that torch and started to carry it even further. So the helmet line continues into, I want to say that it even continues now into the Hobbit franchise. So do a little bit of digging, go to the Weta New Zealand website and check out what they're offering, because there's some really, really cool stuff that you might be missing out on if you haven't thought to look at it. They have franchises that don't just include Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You'll find stuff there from the Dark Crystal, for instance. That line has really piqued my interest. A few other things as well. I've got some stuff in my collection from Halo. I've got things in my collection from Doctor Who that all came from Weta. So they're really eclectic. You never know what they're going to get the license for. So check them out. That's it for this one. So next. Anybody who knew that I had this had to know that this was going to be on there. This was a gift from a guy who's probably my best friend that I made out in California, and I appreciate you so much, man. Again, as always, you are the best. You are my rock, or have been. Yeah. I love you, dude. Anyway, this is obviously the Yoda versus Clone Trooper premium format figure from Sideshow. And at least I think that's what it's called. I can't possibly know because, again, this one came to me without a box. It's just the figure, but that's really all that you need. I'll say it again. I'm a big proponent of taking orphans into your collection. If there's something that exists that is broken, give it to me or sell it to me for cheap. Whatever, I don't care. I'll fix it and I'll make it look good, and it will totally dress up my wall or my shelf or what have you. But this piece represents to me and to my friend also, because we've talked about this. Sideshow really ramping up their game. As soon as this piece debuted at Comic-Con, I looked at it and thought, all right, that is some next level shit. And it is. I mean, just look as I spin this around. There is legitimately not a single bad angle on this, and they've pulled that off with 2, not 1, but 2 figures. That's right. You get 2 figures in 1 with this. Obviously, this one has some flaws in it. It's been through some stuff before I got a hold of it. There are some missing rocks down here, 1, 2, 3 of them, and also the sights are gone from the front of the gun. That's okay. Again, I love orphans. Send them my way. There's a little bit of a damaged element right there. I might just touch that up later. But yeah, beautiful piece. Love you, buddy. Thank you so much for this. And he's also responsible for giving me 1 or 2 other pieces in this list as well. So on to the next. Isn't she awesome? This is the Aayla Secura premium format figure by Sideshow from way back, like at least a decade ago. I know this because I received this piece from a friend easily a decade ago. I want to say, it might have been 9 years ago, now that I think about it. Probably 9 years ago. Aayla Secura, some people pronounce her Aayla Secura, but they're wrong, is a Twi'lek or Twi'lek, I actually don't know how to pronounce that properly, Jedi Knight who was introduced to us back in the Attack of the Clones. Rapidly became famous for being blue and sexy, and also for just being just really, really freaking cool. Just great costume design, great look. First time we've seen a Twi'lek Jedi, and met her ignominious end at the hands of the 327th Star Corps, Commander Bly commanding. Obviously, what this piece has become is sort of a what-if scenario. It illustrates an outcome of her battle during Order 66 that didn't actually happen. You can see that this helmet of a member of the 327th Star Corps has been cleaved by a lightsaber, very clearly cut by a lightsaber, which did not happen. She died pretty much right away. Was taken completely off guard by her traitorous clones. Not your fault, guys. Don't hold it against you. Yeah, I do. Jerks. But yeah, you can see it's just a beautiful piece. Obviously, this is not mint. It came to me again free. It was a. I don't want to get too long-winded about this, but you can see that I actually did wind up breaking one of the things down here. One of the little guys. Which one is it? Did I wind up breaking one, or did I imagine that? No, here it is. It's all the way back at the back. So you can't really see it unless you're looking for it. Still looks great on display. Also, the little leather elements here are starting to give. I don't know what caused that erosion to start to happen here, but it's definitely starting to fade. Meaning that this thing's getting a little bit long in the tooth and it doesn't have much longer of a shelf life, unless I find somebody out there who's willing to remake this belt for me and reapply all the hard elements to it. Yeah. Or maybe I'll just learn how to work with leather myself. Yeah, he's probably right. Anyway, gorgeous piece. Haven't seen my friend who gave this to me in quite some time, and I hope that they're doing well. I know that they've met with great success in their career, and I celebrate that. It would be really great to hear from this person, maybe catch up. So if you're watching and you know who you are, then feel free to reach out to me. It'd be really good to talk to you. That's it. Move on to the next. Oh, didn't see it down there. Yes, it is the Commander Wolffe 6-scale figure by Sideshow, blue armor variant. Now, I'm going to go with my memory on this one, and it's not always reliable, but as I recall, Commander Wolffe, when he was first created, his clones, his group ran with blue flashes on their armor. The paint scheme was blue and white, and not the gray and white that became more renowned as the Clone Wars series became the dominant storytelling method for continuing Star Wars stories. This is legitimately, to my knowledge, one of a kind, the only one that Sideshow made. It was left for me on the my door at my office at Sideshow had it was one of those levers. It was a lever, not a knob. So there was a flat area with a gap between, and he was left sitting cross-legged on that lever with his helmet on. The head is something I was able to acquire later on in the day. But yeah, traditionally I don't think it came with a belt either. He had the kama, but he didn't have the belt, so I had to scrounge a belt up from my collection of accessories down below me. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting on a collection of accessories right now, or am I? But no, this is something really, really special to me. The guy who gave it to me, I don't know if I'd go so far as to call him a friend, but we are friendly with each other, and he clearly thought enough of me to make this gesture. And I really appreciate you. I don't know if you're gonna watch this again. I'm not gonna name drop anybody, but I'm really grateful for this. It's always been on display in my house or my apartment in one way or another, and I've never forgotten this kindness. So thank you very much for that. It is, however, going to a new home. I'm passing on this kindness and I'm giving it to somebody else. I hope to have more to say about that later on in the day. But let's just suffice it to say that I'm passing this off to somebody who I believe to be more of a Commander Wolffe fan than I am. So without further ado, oh, by the way, that guy's not getting this base. I made this, I'm keeping it. Or is he? You might get the base. It'd be a lot cooler that way if you got to have something that I actually made. But anyway, on to number 2. That's right, I got a Slate. A Slate is basically a clapper, you know, one of those things that they use to basically sync the sound and the video elements or film elements in a film. This is obviously a classic one these days. I think they're pretty much all digital and everything. But what this is, basically, is my friend who gave me this, and again, very, very lucky in friendship. He works a lot for Lucasfilm, and he was able to acquire this for me. It is a wrap party gift from a show obviously called The Buccaneer. What The Buccaneer is the working title for the Book of Boba Fett. That's right, the upcoming Lucasfilm Disney Plus show starring everybody's favorite bounty hunter slash Mandalorian slash badass in the galaxy far, far away. I don't even know, I'm still speechless when I talk about this thing. I made a video when he first sent me this, as well as several other wrap party gifts, and there were like other things, including autographed pops, Funko Pops. But this was really, really the standout, and obviously I think it was the thing that I opened last. It came in its own black envelope. But you can see that it's autographed by several members of the stunt team, up to and including, over here we have, this is Brandon Wayne's signature, and this over here is the signature of Lateef Crowder. These two gents are notable in their role as the physical performers of Din Djarin the Mandalorian, especially in season 1. Lateef brought his fighting prowess to the combat scenes starring Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and Brandon Wayne, aka the grandson of the late great John Wayne, was the attitude. He brought the attitude, the physicality, just the presence, the stance, the posture, the walk. So these two guys autographed this, as well as a few other members of the stunt team. And down here we have Boba Fett himself, Temuera Morrison. So obviously I'm thrilled with this. It's hanging out with my autographed Boba Fett helmet. My friend was able to get my Boba Fett helmet signed by Temuera as well. And this will always be one of my most treasured collectibles. Thank you so much, my friend. I know that you've got to be watching this, and I appreciate you, appreciate your time. Have no idea how I got so lucky. You're such a good friend, and I appreciate you. Anyway, enough of that. Let's move on to the number 1 collectible given to me as a gift by a friend. Boy, there it is. The number 1 piece of the top 10 pieces that have been given to me over the years by friends. This, as most of you may have, or some of you may have guessed, is the Negative Zone Spider-Man premium format figure by Sideshow. It's a variant of the original Spider-Man premium format figure that Sideshow produced years ago, right after they got the Marvel license. And it's magnificent. It still holds up very, very, very well, despite the fact that Sideshow was obviously in their infancy with Marvel pieces at the time. They were still experimenting with using fabric, and you can see that, like this, I don't know if you can see here, but we'll zoom in close enough, but you can see that this is legitimately fabric that's going over the legs of Spider-Man and fading into the booties, the booties of his spider costume. Obviously, this breaks here. There's a joint here, 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 here. And when you're assembling the piece, you put the fabric over it. I mean, when they assemble the piece in the factory is what I mean. You put the fabric over these costume elements, and then you insert the resin bits into the keyholes, and that allows everything to lock into place so that you don't have the fabric springing free. It's a really brilliant way of engineering things. They use that to great success over the years with various pieces like Thor, Captain America comes to mind as well. Other pieces as well, but it worked really, really well, and it looks really amazing. See what I did there? Amazing. Yeah, that's right. Dad humor for the win. Anyway, so yeah, this is I really want to spend some time on this, but I'm even right now just looking at it, I'm a little bit slack-jawed. If I seem less excited about this piece than others, it's simply because I do get a little bit emotional when I think about how much of a statement that it made for this person to give this piece to me, rather than hang on to it. It's quite valuable. And I don't know if he knew that it was something that I wanted for a long time, or if he just recognized the value of it and wanted to step forward and say, hey, I know what this is worth. I should be keeping this. Any sane person would, but this is what my friendship my friendship with you means to me. And more than anything, when you're giving gifts, I firmly believe that should be at the forefront of any gift-giving experience. Whatever gift you give should say something about your relationship to the person to whom you're giving it. And if that's the case, if I'm right about that and other people feel the same way, and if he feels the same way, then obviously he feels pretty strongly about our friendship. Yeah. So that's it. The list of Terry's top 10 pieces that were given to him by friends. Let me know what you think about any of these pieces in the comments below. Let me know if you have them in the comments below. Has anybody given you a gift of a collectible? If so, let me know. I'm very interested in starting a little bit of chit chat down in that comment section and hearing you all share your stories of friendships forged in the fires of collectibles. Without further ado, though, I think it's time to wrap this video. Again, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you. And until next time, be good to your plastic and to your resin. And most of all, be good to your friends.
Hey, look at you. Made it to the end and everything. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time a new video is posted. Until next time, thanks for watching and be good to your plastic.